Hi, everyone, and welcome back for another episode of Malice in the Mitten. I'm your host, Tracy Preston, along with my bestie, Christine Mulligan. Hey, Christine.
Hey, Trace. Hey, everybody. What are we getting into? A whole new time frame, ain't it?
Yeah, it is. I mean, we just took 2 weeks off, which was totally needed, but I gotta tell you, it felt super weird, right? I mean, I'm like, I'm supposed to be doing something. So it felt really weird to relax. The first week was super weird. And then as the second week came across, I'm like, I'm getting kind of bored. I think I need to get back to work. Bonkers, right?
Oh, I feel like we haven't had no time off at all. What are you talking about?
I know, right? It went fast. Like at times it felt like it was a really long time. But then I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to get to writing a story. First of all, before we get going, I just wanted to thank everyone who came out to see our show at Awaken Haunted Attraction a couple weeks ago. I had the best time, and it was absolutely an amazing experience.
Oh my God, that was so much fun. I had a blast. So many people there. I got to meet everybody that I've seen their comments and stuff before. It was a lot of fun. It was super cool. All of those people are just super cool. Just so everybody that can hear us knows, Tracy has this whole little cooperative of amazing artists and people up in Michigan. So I got to meet them all, and it was very, very cool. So thank you very much for all coming.
Yeah, absolutely. I will never forget everybody that came, and it means so much. So thank you guys so much. And I also want to thank Brian and his partner, Rob, for having us at their venue. And Brian did such an amazing job with the stage lights, and everything was just perfect. And I would definitely recommend that people get on his website and look at his upcoming events. He's got a lot of cool stuff coming up. And the week after we had our show, Todd and I had done the Hell Run, the Jeep Hell Run. Well, we didn't really go because we joined there in the morning and hung out with everybody. And it was super cool because they had, everybody was decorating their Jeeps for Halloween. But when we all kind of took off, Todd and I kind of headed back to Awaken Haunt, and we set up our booth so we could sell some stuff. And then afterwards, we went through his haunted house. Now, remember when you and I and your son and Todd all went to Universal during Halloween? What do they call that again?
Halloween Horror Nights.
Yeah, Halloween. Yeah, Halloween Horror Nights. And to be honest, Awaken Haunt, Universal has nothing on Awaken Haunt. It was so professionally done. I mean, I felt like I was in Universal, but it was better than Universal. It was an amazing haunted house.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
They do a great job there with everything else, so I can only imagine how good it was.
Yeah, it was super cool. So I definitely recommend you guys get out there during the season and enjoy what they've done out there. It's cool as hell. So anyway, I just wanted to get those thank yous out of the way before we get into the show. So what do you say?
What kind of crap we listening to today? I'm just kidding. Is it about kids? You're not starting off a whole new season about kids, are you?
I am not starting off the season with kids.
All right, so win-win. Let's go. What are we talking about?
All right. So here we go. This is season 9, episode 1, Ashley Young. A mother never stops. Ashley Young grew up in Kalamazoo, and in 2018, she was 31 years old. At the time, she was working at a bank in the call center. I'm not really sure what a call center in a bank is, but anyway, that's what she did. Ashley was a very happy woman, always cheerful, always had stories to tell, and according to her mother, Christine, you never interrupted her when she was telling one of her stories, because if you did, well, she would just start the whole thing over again. Ashley and her mother had a very close relationship, and the two of them would talk and text to one another every single day. She was described by her closest friends as bubbly and happy. She loved her phone and was always on it, either texting or talking to her mother and friends, like nonstop. She had long, light brown hair, the biggest blue eyes, and a smile that matched her personality. Sometimes she would even sing-song her responses when talking to her friends on the phone. Ashley lived with her mother, Christine, while growing up, and for many years, it was just the two of them. So to say there was a strong bond between them would be an understatement. But when she was 15, her mother fell in love with and married a woman named Dana Nelson. Initially, it was difficult for Ashley. She wanted a stepdad like, quote-unquote, other normal families, but she became very close with Dana and her two sons, and soon that normal didn't matter.
Excuse me, miss, that normal was normal for them.
True.
Okay, just clarifying. Go on.
I'm going on. Now, Dana described Ashley, and the way she viewed the world was rainbows, sunshine, and butterflies. But it was Dana who would always remind Ashley that the real world wasn't that way. And Ashley would always say, I didn't hear that. Now, do you remember what it was like the first time you fell for someone? Like really fell? Your very first love? You know, it's all magical. That first hug, first kiss, and even that first sexual encounter. That feeling is something so incredible. Well, Ashley had all of that with her very first boyfriend, Moody. They had dated for a while, then moved in together. He had even given Ashley a promise ring. The two of them lived together for a handful of years, but soon their lease was running out, and Moody was going to have to return to his native country of Saudi Arabia. And this was something that weighed heavily on Ashley. She told her mom that she wanted to try to live on her own for a while. She wanted to see what it would be like. I mean, she went from living with her mom to living with Moody, and he was going to have to leave soon. So I guess maybe she thought it's best to end it and try things on her own, because knowing the type of family girl Ashley was, I can't see her leaving the state, let alone the country. And I'm thinking she may have been ready to spread her wings just a little bit more. Date other people, pursue other interests, and experience more of what life had to offer. As Ashley was going through the process of breaking up with Moody, she and her mother packed up her belongings in preparation for her upcoming move. In fact, the very next day, Ashley was to meet her mom at her new apartment complex to sign her lease, and that day would be November 29th, 2018. But Ashley had plans for a little fun Wednesday night, November 28th. Now, sometime early that night, Christina called her daughter, but she didn't answer, so she left a voicemail. Shortly thereafter, Ashley returned her call, and she didn't answer, so Ashley left her a voicemail. And she said, quote, Mom, I cannot listen to your message right now. I'm driving. But when I get to my destination, I will listen to what you have to say. I love you, and I will talk to you later, okay? But right now, I'm driving. For Christine, this was a little unusual because Ashley always told her everything. Where she was going, what she was doing. Was she meeting up with someone? I mean, her mom was her best friend, but a girl doesn't always tell their mother everything. I mean, that's what your bestie is for, right?
Of course. That's why all girls need a great bestie. Did she have one other than our mother?
She absolutely did. And
okay. Well,
yep.
Did she talk to her that night?
She did. So on Thursday, November 29th, when Christine didn't hear from her daughter either by text or a phone call, she immediately reached out to Moody, but he didn't know where she was either. It's now Friday, November 30th. Christine still hasn't heard from either Moody or Ashley, so Christine put out a blast on Facebook with a picture of her daughter. Her post said this: This is my daughter, Ashley Young. She is missing. Have you seen her? please either contact me or the police department in Grand Rapids or Kalamazoo. Now, I'm telling you right now, this is a mother who knew something was wrong and got immediately on it.
Yeah, it sounds like it. This was just one full night. Is that it, when she put up the Facebook picture? Or was it all day?
It was 2 days later, right? So, I mean, the thing with her daughter Ashley was she was always on the phone, always. So, she was thinking, it's not, maybe her phone went dead, which was not uncommon. She didn't show up on Thursday to sign the lease with her mother, and she's still not showing up or contacting anybody on Friday. So it's 2 days later.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I might be doing the same thing. Cops don't believe people are missing until, 72 hours? Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Or is it 40?
Yeah, it's about 72 hours, and maybe 48 to 72 hours. And then the other thing is, it's the whole nonsense of, she's an adult. I mean, she's a 31-year-old woman. They don't take that shit seriously, and it absolutely makes me nuts.
Yeah, it really sometimes should be kind of a case by case. When somebody's in constant contact like that and then just falls off, it should be like from when it falls off. Because it's just like murder cases, right? They say the first 48 hours are the most precious. And once you pass them, the likelihood of finding whatever you're looking for goes down by like 60% or something crazy like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't throw out the statistics since I don't really know them that well, but I know there's, something about that. After the first 48, it's like more than half unlikely. I don't know.
You're right. I mean, that is the time. That's the time frame. And when a family knows, and that's what makes me crazy. They know when something's not right. All right, so family immediately started reaching out to Christine after she made her post, asking if this was some kind of a joke. But she made it very clear that this was absolutely no joke. Still nothing. No one knew where Ashley was. So Christine started calling all of Ashley's friends, but no one heard from her or knew where she was, or at least didn't want to say where she was. Now, Ashley's best friend was Samantha Hunt. She knew that she had gone out the night of November 28th, and that was a Wednesday. She knew she had plans and knew who she was meeting up with. But at the time, she didn't want to say much until she found out that Ashley hadn't shown up to meet her mom to sign that lease. The two friends, a couple of weeks prior, had finally been able to spend a weekend together away, just hanging out in Detroit. They also went to a concert, just a girls' weekend of which they hadn't had in a very long time. And this is when Ashley confided in Samantha about the breakup of Moody and someone that she was excited to meet up with. Now, his name was Jared Chance. The two knew each other years prior, but there had been a falling out when Jared broke into her apartment and had stolen things from her. But now he was back in her life, and she was excited to spend some time with him, especially now that she and Moody were broken up. She was full of what ifs with this guy, because to her, this felt natural. He knew her from years prior and saw her for who she was, and she was really excited to be going on this date. Ashley and Jared were going to meet up at Mulligan's Pub in Grand Rapids. Now, she lived in Kalamazoo, but Jared lived in Grand Rapids. And I just have to say, there's so many weird coinky-dinkies in here. The mom's name is Christine, and they go to Mulligan's Pub.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all over this story.
I know, it's nuts. All right, but before Ashley met up with Jared, she and Samantha were firing off texts to one another per usual. Then around 1:30 in the morning, Ashley called Samantha. The two talked for quite a while, and she was her happy, bubbly self. She called her from outside of the bar while Jared was still inside having a few drinks with some of his friends. There were no flags to Samantha that anything was wrong that night, and it was just Ashley being Ashley and wanting to share some of her night with her friend. It's now Thursday, and Samantha was getting a lot of calls, not only from her friends, but of course from Ashley's mother. It seemed that everyone was looking for Ashley, but she hadn't heard from her since the night before. As we know, Samantha knew about the date with Jared. I mean, for all she knew, Ashley and Jared had spent the night together, and initially she didn't want to reveal that. Maybe Ashley didn't want her mom to know that she was out on a date so soon after her breakup with Moody. But as the calls and texts kept coming and looking for Ashley, she was also getting worried and finally told Christine about the date with Jared. After learning this information, Christine then called Ava, another one of Ashley's friends. When she asked if she knew where Ashley was or if Ashley knew who this Jared guy was, she was reassured there was nothing to worry about. Jared was a great guy, and his father was a police officer. She had known Jared for years. He was a good friend of her cousin's. Ava had Jared's phone number, and she gave it to Christine. And when the two hung up, she called Jared to kind of give him a heads up that he would be getting a call from Ashley's mom, but he didn't answer. She left him a message that Ashley's mother is scared because she hasn't heard from her daughter and to call her. But she never heard back from Jared. She called again, still nothing. She left another message and basically telling Jared that either he gets in touch with her or she's going to come on over because she has no problem coming on over to find Ashley. Now, it's about 1 p.m. Friday afternoon. Again, this is 2 days after her date, when Christine called Jared, and this time he answered. When asked if Ashley was with him, he's like, no, And he told her that she had actually gone home with this dude named Demetrius Wednesday night from Mulligan's Pub. He said this guy was a friend of his and even gave her Demetrius's number. Give him a call right now because Ashley was there with him. As soon as she hung up with Jared, well, that's exactly who she called. When asked if he knew Jared, Demetrius said he did. And when he was asked about Ashley, well, he didn't know anything about an Ashley and that she had never come home with him. It's now Saturday, December 1st, 2018, 3 days since anyone had heard from Ashley. Christine and her wife drove to the Grand Rapids Police Department to report Ashley missing, the last known place she was, and with whom she was with in Grand Rapids. To Christine and Dana, they didn't feel that they were being taken seriously, and they were told that they needed to report her missing in the city that she lives in, which was Kalamazoo. So, the two drove to the police department in Kalamazoo and provided them with the information on Ashley, that she was missing and no one had heard from her in 3 days, and that this was not normal for her to be out of touch with family or friends. They again were told that there really wasn't anything that could be done. She was 31 years old, so it's reasonable for her to want her own space. Again, what the hell? I hate that.
Yeah, it's not cool when everybody that knows her is saying, hey, listen, we know exactly when she dropped off contact, and it's been 3 days, and we waited 3 days, so now get the fuck on it.
Yeah, let's move it.
Any sense. But, I mean, adults should be able to disappear if they want to, but they should also have to be accountable for their whereabouts to some degree. So I don't really get that privacy thing. I don't understand that. It's one thing to want privacy, but it's another thing like when everyone in her life, her mother, her friends, it's not like a stalker's looking for her. If it was one person and they're not related, I might understand the hesitancy, even if it's a case like this. But when it's her parents, I don't know. But then again, what about all those people that go off the cults? They don't do anything with them either.
Right.
They leave them alone too.
Right.
So I don't know. I really don't know. It's a slippery slope, but I hear your frustration.
Right, and it's all about patterns, right? Like, it'd be different if Ashley was in touch with her family or friends, like, every now and again. But we're talking her pattern is on the daily, multiple times a day. So for 3 days to go by and nothing, You should listen to that. So friends and family, they took it upon themselves to drive around and look for Ashley. They were looking for her car, posting flyers, and making more posts on Facebook. And this time, they were even posting pictures of Ashley and Jared, and Ashley and Jared together, as she had taken some pictures and sent those to her friends. Christine and Dana had found out where Jared lived, so that's exactly where they were headed next. But he didn't answer the door. He didn't answer his phone. Then they decided to go to Mulligan's Pub, and when they got there, they spoke to the bartender and the manager that were actually working on Wednesday night. They had learned that they had security cameras and that they had footage, and also that other storefronts had video cameras and footage as well, and they were granted access to view that footage. And there she was, in black and white, walking on the sidewalk, talking on her phone. Nothing looked out of the ordinary. Now, we know that it was Samantha she was talking to, according to what she had told Christine. As they continued watching the surveillance video, they then saw Jared. He was walking down the sidewalk with Ashley following behind. And once they passed all the stores with the cameras, that was the last time Christine saw her daughter. It's now Sunday, December 2nd, 2018. Jared and his father walked into the Grand Rapids Police Department. At the window, Jared said, quote, I just came in because I read on Facebook that the last person Ashley was with was me. So I was just concerned, but I came in just to say, here I am. I'm not hiding from you. My dad recommended that I come in and ask for the advice of an attorney because I really don't know what the hell is going on. Now, how weird is that? That all of a sudden, he comes into the police department to make a statement?
Yeah, because, he lied to her mother. He lied to her mother and even gave somebody else's name and phone number that she had left with them when it's obvious on videotape that she left with him.
Yeah.
So, what the actual? This guy is guilty. He did something to her.
Mm-hmm.
And it was, I'm assuming now, but the vibe of it is, it may have been an accident, but it was no accident that he covered it up.
Exactly. Now, a few hours later that Saturday, Ava tried calling Ashley and Jared yet again. Still, no answer. At this point, she's done and just decided that she was going to drive over to Jared's. Now, this was around 4 p.m. Saturday. When she walked onto the porch, she was looking for anything that could have shown Ashley was there. Now, just to give you a visual, we have a lot of older homes, and a lot of these older homes are kind of turned into like an upper and a lower apartment. So on the covered front porch, you have a door on the left that goes to the apartment upstairs, and then you have a door on the right, and that leads into the apartment downstairs. All right, so while she's on the porch, she happens to look over to her right, and she sees a big garbage can without a lid on it. And she noticed there were a pair of work boots on top, and to her, this felt off. So she decided she would make a video of what she was looking at, and that this was something she would send to Ashley's mother. So everybody's got some weird feelings here. So she was moving the boots around, and she saw there was a pair of latex gloves, plastic wrap, body wash, a bottle of ammonia, and a saw blade, like a sawzall blade. Also on the porch, there was an empty, large, deep metal bucket or pot with a mop in it. And this is when the neighbors who lived in the apartment on the first level below Jared opened the door, and they were like, what in the heck are you doing? Ava explained that she was looking for her friend, that she knew she had been with the guy who lived upstairs a couple of nights ago, and that no one has seen nor heard from her since. They were trying to find her and wondered if they had seen or heard anything, but they told her they hadn't. However, after Ava left, they called the police because they had been smelling a very foul odor for the last couple of days, and they just couldn't figure out where it was coming from. So they decided that they would look in the basement. Now, the basement in this house is actually a shared basement, so there's more than one set of stairs that lead into the basement. So there's an outdoor stairwell, there's a stairwell from the bottom floor apartment, and then there's like another stairwell that goes up to the top floor apartment. It's a lot of stairs. When the tenant went into the shared basement to see if this is where the smell was coming from, well, they did find something. 911, what's the emergency?
Our house is having a real bad smell lately, so I just went into the basement. I opened the basement door, and there's a tarp and what looks like could be blood leaking from it, and I want the police to come here ASAP, like right now, and look at it.
Detective Sergeant John Perlay of the Grand Rapids Police Department was notified by the 911 operator and was dispatched to a home on Franklin Street in downtown Grand Rapids. Upon arrival, he and other officers were taken to the back door of the home that led to the basement. As I mentioned, there is also access from the apartment above. Now, this was not a Michigan basement, as we have discussed before, where the floor is a dirt floor. This one had a poured slab floor, and it's very dark, cold, and dingy, with plywood walls, open rooms, exposed pipes, and random cans of paint sitting around on the floor. You know, the typical things you see in a basement. As the officers navigated through the basement, they finally came to a stairway that went up to the house toward the upstairs apartment. And there it was, a black tarp with green trim, and it was clear that there was something concealed inside of it. The tarp and its contents were resting on the last couple of steps. The odor they were smelling was familiar. It was the smell of decomposition. And just like the caller described, there was a trail of blood coming out of it. As they approached it with their flashlights directed on the tarp, they saw skin and told the other officers that were coming down the stairway to back out of the house. After unzipping the tarp slightly, it was clear what was inside were human remains. Crime scene technicians were called to the scene. The call? Body in a tarp. Detective Perlay escorted crime scene tech Mallory Kassarian along with the medical examiner into the basement and then to the bottom of the stairs. As they began to open it, Mallory said, quote, there should be an arm there. The ME said, there should be a head there. But those were not the only body parts that were missing. The majority of the legs, both arms, hands, feet, and the head were removed. All that remained in the tarp was a naked torso. The area around the home was immediately secured with crime scene tape, and the investigation began. Who could have done this? Could it have been someone that lived in one of these two apartments? And where are the missing body parts? The Michigan State Police were called to the scene, and it was requested that they bring cadaver dogs.
Police with a search warrant. Is anyone on the second level? Come to the door.
Just then, a tall, slender, red-haired man emerged slightly, and they yelled,
Over your head! Come out to the stairwell right now. Put your hands up, hands up! Hands on your head.
When they asked for his name, he replied, Jared Chance. He was placed under arrest for suspicion and probable cause. No other charges could be filed at this time, but this would be enough for them to hold him. With Jared under arrest and taken into custody, his apartment was searched. Once inside, they found a secondary landing. So for a visual here, from the upstairs apartment, there were stairs heading down, then a landing that turned, then another set of stairs that led to the basement. Here, on the landing, were a couple of cardboard boxes, which the cadaver dogs immediately hit on. Now, inside, they found black plastic garbage bags, and inside the bags, they found the missing legs and arms. But what was not found were the hands, feet, or head. On the kitchen floor, they discovered a large brown stain on the linoleum, along with a shovel. In the bedroom closet, they found a pair of pruners, and on a shelf in the living room was a 6-inch fillet knife. In the bathroom, they noticed standing water in the tub, the shower curtain was missing, a pair of men's jeans were on the floor with a brown-colored stain on the right knee, and to them, it looked like blood. A sheath from a fillet knife was also on the floor, a turned-over white garbage pail, and blue rope. When the stains on the jeans were tested, they were positive for blood. Now, oddly enough, as the house was being processed, Christine and her wife, Dana, drove up and saw the crime scene tape and all the police activity. They approached one of the officers, and they were asked to head immediately to the police station. Once Dana and Christine were in the interrogation room, they were asked to describe what Ashley looked like. Christine said, quote, "My daughter has big, beautiful eyes." And this is when they were told there were no identifying parts. The only way to determine if the victim was Ashley, Christine would have to give her DNA. So a buccal swab was taken and sent to the lab. An autopsy of the torso was performed, and there was nothing in her system, such as drugs or alcohol, so that was ruled out. The cause of her death was listed as undetermined because all they could estimate was that whatever caused this woman's death had to have happened to her head.
Okay, but can we just talk, why would they say cause of death unknown? How about body dismemberment? Like, that's definitely going to kill a fucker.
That's definitely going to kill a fucker. But
I mean, I'm sorry. I'm just putting a little levity into this. No known cause of death, but all we have is a torso. What?
I know.
That doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. It's probably not very nice that I'm laughing about it, but I think you're numbing me to some of this. Because you tell me all you find is a body, but on the autopsy, a torso. But on the autopsy, all we're going to say is we don't know why this torso is not living.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I definitely feel what you're saying, but usually I imagine, not from experience, but I would imagine, right, there was a death, then...
Yeah, I get it. I'm just kind of being facetious. Like, okay, so they did a drug and alcohol screen, and that wasn't the cause of it. And then we're just going to mark it as unknown cause because all we have is a torso.
Right.
But also with that little information that there were no drugs and alcohol in her system, like on the real level, makes me feel even worse because that means that whatever did happen, she may have felt the first couple of cuts, and that makes my skin crawl.
Yeah, exactly. Now, the other thing I want to throw in there is this Jared dude, he had some substance abuse issues, definitely with alcohol, and he definitely was into popping pills. So we're going to throw that out there. Now, detectives pulled Jared's phone records from the time Ashley had been reported missing, and they discovered there were a lot of calls from Jared to his parents. Now, with Jared in custody, detectives attempted to question him, but of course, he immediately requested an attorney, so that kind of nipped that in the bud. The next stop for detectives was to pay a visit to Jared's parents, who lived in Holland, Michigan. Now, Holland is approximately 30 miles from Grand Rapids, with turns and twists, but if, you did a straight shot, it was about 25 miles, like as the crow flies, so they say. James and Barbara Chance were home, and it was James who answered the door. Upon speaking with James, detectives learned that he was a former police officer. His dad had spent 14 years on the force, and James had also said that he was glad he was not working the case when they were talking to him. And when asked why he said that, well, he said, quote,
"Because this is a tough case."
"Really? Really?" Now, detectives were prepared and had a search warrant, which they served immediately to James. They found a shower curtain in the garage and a reciprocating saw underneath their couch. Now get this, legit. It was like they just shoved it under the couch. They didn't put it in a bag or a box, nothing. And when they looked at it, there was hair, tissue, and blood on the end of it. Now, it was missing the saw part. Now, if you remember, that was seen by Ava in the garbage can. And what I'm going to say for being a retired officer, if you're going to help cover up a murder, you made a lot of mistakes, bud.
But he was very confident in himself by him saying this was a tough case because he already ratted himself out that he's the one that did it all when his son called him and said he was in trouble. He came to his son's rescue because his arrogant, ignorant ass thought that he was smart enough to pull it off. Oh my God, you just annoyed me so much with this whole line of the story. This arrogant, ignorant idiot, period. That's all I'm okay. Let me not laugh past him for the rest of the time that we're recording. So, go ahead.
Yeah.
What happens?
Yeah, I mean, like, this guy is that brazen. I'm just going to throw that right under the couch. What in the hell? Now, James and Barbara Chance were then taken to the police department in Grand Rapids, and criminal charges were filed against them. Now, here's the interview with Detective Pearlie and James.
I think there's more to the story, and I think you know more.
What do you think I know? You tell me. Now, in another interrogation room, Barbara said she asked her son if she was dead, and he said yes. Detective Pearlie asked her if there was anyone else there. She said he didn't tell her that. She also said that Jared had called her, told her that he had lost his job, now this was on a Saturday, and that he tried to kill himself. He told her that she had to come over right away. Now remember, James and his dad walked into the police department? Hey, I'm here, I'm not hiding. So you know his damn parents were in on it from the get-go.
So, he walked into the police department on Saturday as well?
His dad and Jared were the ones that walked into the police department. Now there was video showing the two of them walking in and showing them like at the window when they were talking to police officers there at the window.
Okay, so what, was Mom back at home carving stuff up?
I think she was hanging out in the car because they're all together, all three of them.
Oh, okay. Well, they already done the deed then because it was Thursday night that she went missing, correct?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, but he still had time to do it by himself. But when was it that he called his parents? The night that she went missing was when all the phone calls to the parents happened, right?
I think it was like a day or so after and it could have even been Saturday morning because he's like, I lost my job. I tried to kill myself. They don't know why. They just know at this point that their son needed them to come over and come over now.
So that he was calling them the night that she disappeared, right?
No, he did not call them the night she disappeared. That's what I was just saying. He didn't call them for a day or so. I'm thinking it was Saturday morning.
Okay.
All right. So that's when they headed over there, and then that's when they went into the police department. Now, Barbara went on to say that when they got to Grand Rapids, Jared said he had to put some stuff in their car. Now, she denied getting out of the car while Jared was loading things into the back of their Honda SUV. She also said that her husband might have gotten out to help him. Like, you don't know? Now, when James was being interrogated, Detective Pearlie asked him,
how did those boxes get into the Honda in the first place?
James's response, well, he put them in there.
Was it just a plain cardboard box?
Yeah.
Okay. Where did that come from?
Shit, I don't know. I thought the stuff he was putting in there was some stuff from work, because there were boots and one of the items looked like work clothes. Basically, both James and Barbara said they didn't know what was being put into their car. After Jared loaded everything up, they took off for their home in Holland. Jared stayed the night, and on Saturday, so this must have been Friday that it happened, so 2 days afterwards. So Jared stayed the night, and on Saturday morning, according to Barbara, Jared was sobbing and told her there was an accident. He said he and Ashley had been drinking, which we know is a bold-faced lie because her autopsy didn't show any alcohol. They were playing around with a gun. In fact, Ashley was playing with the gun. It went off and she was shot in the face. Now, we know that story is total horseshit. She went on to say that Jared told her that he panicked and he didn't know what to do. He was scared. And he told her that he didn't kill her. The gun just went off. He went on to say that she was his friend and he would never do that. When Barbara was asked by Detective Perlay if Jared told her what he did after she was shot, she said, "Cut off her arms, her feet, her hands, and her head." She also said she asked Jared what he did with them, and he told her that he drove around with them. He drove around and got rid of them. He put them in garbage bags or trash cans or something. She said she asked him where, and he said that he didn't know. James also told detectives that he didn't know where the body parts were either. If he did, he would tell them. Yeah, right. I also want to remind everyone that James was a police officer for 14 years. He was currently retired. Let's also remember that this was Saturday when Jared and his dad walked into the Grand Rapids Police Department. Oh, and the .22 pistol that Jared owned, well, that was also missing. So there's that. Now I ask you, if Jared was innocent and this was an accident, why did he dismember her? Get rid of her hands, feet, and head. But yet he left her torso at the bottom of the stairs and her limbs in bags and boxes on the landing going down to the basement from his apartment. Plus, all the evidence in his apartment, like the sawzall, the knife, and the pruners. There is no one else that could have done this. No one. Now, during his trial, Jared was found guilty of second-degree murder, mutilation, tampering with evidence, and concealing the death of Ashley. He was sentenced to a minimum of 100 years in prison. It's too bad we don't have the death penalty.
Okay, but what's up with the father? He should have definitely been prosecuted for something because you know damn well he told his son what to do afterwards if he wasn't the one helping him do the dismembering himself. And he probably got rid of his gun. All of the things that came out of his cocky, this is a tough case, came from because he thinks he did all of those things to outsmart them. So please tell me the father was prosecuted.
Well, I'm going to tell you that his father was prosecuted. He was found guilty as an accessory to a felony after the fact and lying to the police. He was sentenced to, get this, 1 month in jail and 1 year of probation, and that is total bullshit to me. 1 month in jail? That
is bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
He was an accessory to the murder, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
And his mother was then an accessory to, what did you say, to covering it up?
Yeah,
the mother's an accessory to that, and the father is accessory to the murder. What the hell?
Yeah, no, get this. Barbara Chance was only sentenced to 45 days in prison and 1 year of probation as well. Again, total bullshit. That's a slap on the wrist.
That is not good enough, especially when I know personally people in jail for longer than that for marijuana or driving under the influence, which of course I don't condone driving under the influence, but that gives you like what, 1 to 3 years?
Right. Yeah.
But murder and accessory to murder,
Yeah.
25 days.
Hiding.
What the actual?
Yeah, hiding evidence, helping him dispose of identifying pieces of this girl's body.
Yeah, that seems very unhinged. That's not enough time.
Agreed. Now, this poor woman, Christine, she, as you can imagine, I've really struggled with this story because I just couldn't imagine being in this woman's place. And then arms and legs in boxes. But what she is begging for and pleading for is if anyone has any information regarding the location of her daughter's head, hands, or feet, to please report it anonymously. She desperately wants the rest of her child at home. Oh my God, I just can't even imagine the torture this woman goes through on the daily.
Yeah, I'm not even going to allow my mind to start thinking about that. Because then I'll be crying about it all day, Trace. Thanks a lot.
I know. That's brutal. So, anyway, I hope that someone knows something, but to be honest, I don't think anybody does, and I'm certain that James and Barbara are never going to say a word.
Because they got away with murder.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They may not have been there for the actual killing if it was a gunshot to the head. They may not have been there for that, but as soon as they found out about it and didn't do anything about it and then allowed and probably coached their son in dismembering her, oh God, it really boils my blood that they didn't get more time. It really does.
Mm-hmm. And it also got me thinking, like, what would I do in that situation? What would you do? What would you do? What would I do if our child came to us and said this is what they did?
I am a mama bear like nobody's business. Anybody that knows me knows that my whole life is purposed for and because of my children. But if one of my children killed another person and then told me about it, we'd be owning that shit and we'd be there and they'd be telling the whole story. The truth and nothing but the truth, so help them God, or I would murder them myself.
Yeah,
Period.
I agree with you. I would do the same. I mean, either way, it's heartbreaking and it would tear a parent to pieces. But it's best to just get in there and report it because you will be found out. I just couldn't even imagine helping to cover up something like that.
I've always been big on accountability with my kids for everything. There would be no difference if they did something bad. They would have to own that. Yeah. And unfortunately, like you said, it's horrifying either way for the parent, but it's also horrifying. And if they weren't a company to it, his parents, I would feel bad for his parents too. If their son did it on his own and they had nothing to do with it, but then found out that their son was a murderer, I mean, that's equally as mind-fucking as losing a child, is to know that your child caused the loss of another child. Like, it's the whole humanity of it all. It still is what it is. I do not feel bad for Jared's parents because they were definitely a party to it, and they obviously don't believe in accountability. Like with that first freaking line, oh, this is a hard case. You ignorant, arrogant idiot. I just am more annoyed at the two of them than even their dumbass son.
Yeah.
At least he got what he deserved.
Agreed. And all it makes me think is that this dude was a dirty cop. And I would really like to know what went on in that house while this Jared kid was growing up. Something is off.
Well, that could definitely be speculated as well.
Yep. So that's our story for today. It's nice to be back, and we appreciate you coming back and listening as always. So thank you. And we look forward to seeing you all back on Wednesday for Round Robin. Have a great week, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.